What is up, guys, girls, and dank memers? The Squire here, and today we're gonna go over Cloud9 versus Team Liquid. We're gonna do something different this time, and we're gonna try and go over picks and bans more specifically. I'm just gonna break down the games of the series and just kind of go over where teams went wrong in pick and bans, what their team comps were good with, and what they should have worked on more. So if one team was really good at team fighting and split pushing, or versus split pushing, and they just didn't execute on that, just stuff like that. So for the first game, we're just going to kind of get into it. As for bans, pretty much Kallista's always a perma ban on the red side, because if you don't get her, you're kind of at a disadvantage. Her laning is just so strong, and her overall team presence and utility as well as damages is ridiculous. She falls off late game compared to other AD carries, but as of right now in the state of AD carries, it's weird because I want to say that like late game AD carries powerhouse main damage source isn't the biggest thing, but then they play people like Vayne and sometimes Kog'Maw a lot, so it's weird. AD carries are in a weird spot. It was Kalista and Sivir pretty much only, with Ashe occasionally as backup utility. But things have been shifting a lot. Sivir's been got kind of nerfed. People were saying Kalista was gutted. She's obviously still being played. The most important thing is I can almost guarantee whenever Cloud9 is blue side that there will be a red side ban of Kalista because they don't want Sneaky to get it. And then as for balls, if you talk about maybe weak links on Cloud9, obviously they have their issues, but definitely Ball's not necessarily his champion pool. He's not a carry top laner. He doesn't always have like the most dramatic, insane performances. That being said, I still think he's a great player, especially on Rumble. That's when he comes out and he shows the world, alright, just because I play Maokai really well and stuff like that, that's not the only champion I can play. Rumble's not necessarily his only champion he can play, but I think it's tiers above pretty much everyone else. And he's the only person in NA that's basically still playing it, which makes no sense because I think it's insanely strong, especially with the API optimization changes. But, so we have a ban on his Rumble. I expect other bans. I think if Cloud9's smart, Phoenix does insanely well on Azir, and I think they should either ban it out or pick it. The only thing is, if it's left up, they'll probably pick it themselves. This is still on patch 5.14, so Fiara, the Juggernaut reworks, all that's not out yet. So I don't expect anything too crazy. We're still looking at Gragas picks. Gragas, I might bust out Shyvana or Mumu. He's kind of the only person that plays those. Nidalee maybe here or there, although I don't think she's that good. Karma banned against Lemonation. Lemon's played it a lot. He plays it well, but I don't think it's that crazy impactful. There's the Azir ban I was expecting. Elise ban. Very strong jungler right now. Great early game pressure. I can see why they banned that. And then the Gangplank, which makes sense. If they don't want Quas to play it. Quas plays really well from a carry type position top lane, and I could see him performing really well in Gangplank. Haven't seen him really play it at all because maybe he played it against TSM, but Team Liquid kind of got knocked out of playoffs, and then they were waiting in the Gauntlet for the last round. So okay, I think the Braum pick is super important. I think Braum might be the strongest support right now for his versatility. He can jump in and out, has his shield to block insane amounts of damage, especially with poke from Nidalee. Same with Maokai's really good at frontlining poke against that, so not necessarily saying they will go a poke comp, but if they do, it's kind of already shut down by this. As well as Braum can do both disengage really well with his ultimate and all his slows, as well as his occasional good engage with a flash ult or something like that. Balls plays really well on Maokai, a good solid pick. Lulu pick. Quas plays a good Lulu. Okay, with a Vayne, that's good. Keep Vayne alive. Kind of, not Juggernaut exactly, but you do have some good buffs. Attack speed buff from Nidalee, and Lulu just buffs in general to help keep Vayne alive to do the damage. I also think that's kind of a steal away from Sneaky, because Sneaky's been playing that Vayne a lot and playing it really, really well. Sneaky in general just killing it during relegations from the other games. I expect 80 carry pick. I think I know. Yeah. Okay. This is what I heard about. I like this pick a lot. I know he had it kind of saved. I'm trying to remember when they played it before. Forever ago, Sneaky picked the Draven into weak laners to absolutely shut them down. Not only is he just an insanely good Draven player, but in general, this matchup, the reason Vayne is becoming more popular is because strong laners have pretty much entirely died off. Lucian's not played that much. He's starting to be played a little bit more. Graves is pretty much gone. No one really plays Misfortune, even though she does have a strong laning phase. Sivir's pretty died off. She was early mid-game focused. And then Kallista's banned. So that's the reason Vayne's coming back around. If you don't have strong laners, Corki being the exception, but she fares well against him because she can dodge his phosphorus bomb with her tumble pretty easily. But Draven is a great pick against this. Similar ranges, Draven can just chunk her out in trades and make her so she has to play back and miss CS. As well as if he does end up getting a kill, can snowball it really easy and just insta-kill Vayne every single fight. Also like the Gragas pick, if they do lock it in, they should, yeah. Because right now you see Lulu and Nidalee, Vayne's the main damage threat. It's going to depend on what they pick for top/mid, depending on if they flex Lulu or not. Gragas is really good at isolating a single target. Explosive cast, knock Vayne into the team. Draven can insta-kill her, especially with the lockdown from Braum and Maokai. Super easy. So that, I like that pick. High plays it well. So I do like it. I think C9's comp is starting off really well. I do like the idea Liquid has. But the only issue is it's hard doing one damage threat comps. Unless it's like a Juggernaut who's insanely good and has way longer range and can basically poke by being on the front line. Okay, so they finished out the, I wouldn't say it's a Jugger Vayne comp or something like that, but you have Vayne along with all of these people to protect her. Right? They should lock in Alistar. Good strong support as well there. Kloss plays a good Nautilus. It's a good matchup against Maokai. He's a little stronger early game, does a little more damage. Wet noodle fight really, but so we'll see how this goes and then break down the rest of it. The last pick. Looking for a mid laner. I assume something moderately safe. It's against Lulu, so he can play something more aggressive if he wants, but they don't really need it. They just need damage. Draven's going to do a lot of damage, but they need another damage threat. Unless they want to protect Draven, but I wouldn't say that. I say just another damage, so it doesn't have to be something high, even if, like, so Orianna would be good, just a lot of team fight presence. Let's see, I think Orianna, maybe something like Ahri. Yeah, I think Orianna's a good solid pick. Does well against Lulu. So, we can look at the picks overall. So, starting with phase 1, or first pick for Liquid, they take the Nidalee pick. Nidalee is really good. Dom is a solid Nidalee player. The issue you run into with this is I don't think she's as strong. If you get a little bit ahead, you can definitely take over a game. You have great vision with her traps, just her overall mobility, as well as just good early ganking pressure. Your spears can chunk someone down. Especially with someone like a Nautilus or an Alistar, you have a lot of CC to set up good ganks, and allow Nidalee to put out insane amounts of damage early. And it is good against the Draven, because I can guarantee from the other games what everyone's basically been doing is camping bot lane on Cloud9. Camp bot lane on Cloud9 and shut Sneaky down. That's the goal. I think when they play this, I believe that High sticks around bot lane a lot of the times, and it just allows Sneaky to get insanely fed. But overall, picks, Nidalee is a decent first pick. I would have rather seen Braum. Braum is a way better first pick. He has an insanely high win rate, as well as just, in my opinion, and a lot of other people's opinions, probably the best support on this patch for sure. Especially because if you leave Nidalee, or if you take Nidalee and you leave Braum open, they're just going to pick it and he can just block all the spears basically. Especially with the Maokai. So first pick could have been used better, I think. The only reason I think that they did that is they wanted to... Well, no, like... I was expecting maybe a counter pick. Like, if you're going to first pick Nidalee, like, get a counter pick afterwards. Not the brightest move by them. Other than that, good first pick by Cloud9. They take top lane, they say, okay, we can be counter-picked. Fizz could have been played against it. Fizz is a good matchup against Maokai. It's kind of where top Fizz first came around. He's able to bully him pretty easily. He doesn't have to worry about getting shit on in lane. Braum was a fantastic pick there. Vayne, super strong right now, like I was talking about. She's able to put out a shit ton of damage and usually doesn't have the strong laners to play against her. This pick here allows Cloud9 to pick the counter pick of Draven on Sneaky, which was brilliant in my opinion. And if I remember later in the series, they do the same exact thing. Lulu along with the Vayne is good. Phoenix is hit or miss sometimes. He plays in a phenomenal Azir. Then again, Azir is just phenomenal in general, especially on this patch. But I think it's an alright matchup. An alright pick. You just... The only thing, like, because you're not getting any counter picks here. You're saying, okay, here's our... The nice thing about the Lulu, I do like the flex pick. You're saying, hey, this could be top or mid. Harder to counter pick. That being said, followed up by the Draven Gragas combo. Love it, especially with a 1 damage comp. I wish seeing Gragas here and how he can isolate Vayne. Like, yes, they have a lot of ways to save Vayne, to keep her alive long enough maybe to peel everyone off of her. But with a Braum, Gragas, Orianna, Maokai, she will be CC locked to death, especially if she gets hit by the barrel. And because she's a lower range AD carry, it's a lot easier to peel her off. And then here you just come down to a decent lane matchup, but just not enough damage. Other than that, I think it was a fantastic draft by Cloud9. Orianna with Maokai or Gragas are both really well. They jump right in. You can ball everyone if they are staying close enough. Ball everyone, knock them up with a Braum ult, and then explosive cast Vayne out. That's the game plan, as well as if you get 1 kill on Sneaky, he can destroy Vayne in 1 or 2 axes. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much it for that game. I know it's the first game of the series, so a lot of the times they just kind of play whatever works well in scrims. So this could have been just, okay, this is the team comp we love. So they weren't worried about counter picks, they weren't worried about it, this was working well. Let's try it out. It's the first game of the series, not the biggest deal. You lose a game, you can come back. The only thing I have against that, maybe, is that I think, personally, I feel Team Liquid is a very emotional team. I'm not saying they like lose a game and they'll tilt, but if like we can't hear the champ select, so the only thing that's possible is if maybe they're like someone's like, oh, this is the team comp we should run. This was working really well for us, and then it doesn't work out this game. The worry I would have is that there might be tensions, and then next champ select, next pick ban, they're like, well, you were wrong last time, so just some speculation there. Other than that, here we go. Here's game 2. Well, I'll go back. Where the fuck did it go? Pick bans. So, game 1. Oh my god, I clicked on a sad day, boys. Okay, what I'm gonna do actually. There we go. So, pick it up a little bit, get into game 2. After losing, I expect to see Team Liquid bans away the Gangplank. First of all, they do not want Quas on Gangplank. I think that's a solid ban. They banned the Nidalee. I don't think High plays it that much or that well, so I'm kind of curious about that. Bans Balls' Maokai away. I would say, okay, definitely needs to ban Sneaky's Callista. I agree with that 100%. Red side should almost always be a Callista ban. They should ban Balls' Rumble. This is saying, hey, I don't want to play my second best champion, I want to play Rumble. The Lulu ban is also strong. Both Colossus and Phoenix play it well. So yeah. Let's just show Riven. That was Orianna. Azir ban. Okay. See, Cloud9 does it right there. What I was talking about before is Braum is probably the best support, and they're going to pick it every chance they get. I would have rather seen a Braum ban, honestly, than an Azir ban. At least try and get it for Phoenix. Or leave Braum open, knowing they're going to pick Braum, or even say maybe Gragas or Alistar, and try and get Azir. I think that was a mistake. Like the Alistar and Gragas pickup, strong. High played well on the Gragas pick, so especially because he can isolate targets for Sneaky. Good ban. Other than that, we'll have to see what C9's thought process is. So here, good. I also like the support and jungle pickup by I'm voice cracked. By Liquid. You are saying, hey, we're gonna leave our solo lanes open, even our AD carry open for the counter pick, so we can try and see something different. I expect Cloud9 to pick Vayne because Sneaky's been playing it so well. Liquid didn't take it, and Liquid doesn't have a direct counter pick to it. Piglet, as far as I know, will not even think about playing like Draven or Misfortune. Graves not so strong, and then Lucian isn't that crazy. I like this. Diana's been being played more and more. I expect him to take TP with that as well. As we were talking about, also Corki is a strong laner to shut down Vayne, but he's very skill shot reliant, and Vayne can just tumble out of his Qs. It's not 100% skill shot, but his Q is his main damage, the way he wins trades. Ezreal would be weird. Lucian would be good, I think, against Vayne. Vayne can tumble out of the Lucian Q with proper play. Ryze would be interesting, especially against the Diana. I think it's a decent matchup. But I would expect more to see like the Victor. Just overall good damage, which is something that Liquid was lacking last game. Oh, there you go. The RE80 carry. It's broken. I expect the Corki. Did take the TP on Diana. I like that, just the overall map pressure. If you play the comp right, you can just get your team ahead and be there for every fight. Diana can split push well too, so allowing her to split push and maybe the top laner, depending on who they pick, can run a 1-3-1 really well. Especially with double TPs. Everyone can be there on every single fight. I don't want to sound. Here we need a jungle top pick. I expect Rumble for sure. They're leaving the top counter for Quas, so they better pick something good if he does pick Rumble. I need to drink. There we go. The Amumu. As far as, okay, there you go. Shen is a good pick. I actually like that better. I take that back. I didn't think that through. The only reason I would say Shen is really good here, you have two major damage dealers in Diana and Vayne. Shen can keep them alive longer, as well as I think he's a really, really strong pick right now. His laning is actually a lot stronger than a lot of people would think. The only thing he lacks is wave clear early on, but as soon as he gets a Balmy Cinder, he'll be fine. I expect the Elisa was banned out against him last game. Would have been good. Hai's been playing well on it. That's fine. Top pick, I guess a Shen counter. They have a major frontline in Alistar and Gragas already, so I could see some more damage. Base top laner. Musquas has something special. I expect it to be someone tankier. Someone tanky is fine. Just because Corki maybe not do the most late game. He might fall off a little bit after his Trinity first spike. But Victor does insane amounts of damage pretty much at all points of the game. If you play Victor right, he's insanely broken. And if you just keep him alive long enough to put out a bunch of lasers, then they'll be set. Mundo would be a different pick, but I would like it. Does a good amount of damage, can just get in the face of Vayne. But health stacking against Vayne isn't always the best. Well, you can't be. That's weird. Nar's also a fantastic pick. Does some more damage. Good against Shen. Pretty easy to dodge his taunt if timed right. Yeah. So, overall, I'm going to try and reel it back really quick before they trade. First pick, Braum, fantastic. Great idea. That's the way it should have been. They already traded. There you go. This is just a Gnar. I like the Corki pseudo counter pick to Vayne, but it's just not that good. I don't think a lot of people have answers to Vayne right now, except for Cloud9. And that's why she's being picked every game. It's just no one has the lane presence against her. Just because there's not a lot of champions that really fit that niche very well against Vayne, and she's not, I wouldn't say broken or anything like that, but if a team plays around her properly and a good player's on Vayne, she can definitely carry the game a lot more than a lot of other AD carries right now. As well as I do think Zeke's Harbinger actually helped Vayne a lot in the fact that she builds a little bit of crit, but it's never been enough. Occasionally you'll get a crit here or there. With Zeke's, you can get those third proc crits, so her Silverbolt proc crits, and just do insane amounts of damage without her having to deviate or change her build path, which is really important. So she gets more damage while already doing a shit ton of damage, basically by building attack speed and Borg. Well, which is partly attack speed. But, so I think that also helped her rise to power. Overall, I think the Victor's a solid pick. Third rotation, he knows he's playing against Diana, and that's the weird thing, is the Diana matchup's not horrible for Victor. If Diana can bait out the gravity field, she can just dive on him and kill him, usually. But that being said, it is very skill-oriented. If Victor doesn't waste his gravity field, Diana can't really jump in, because as soon as she jumps in, he'll just drop the gravity field down on top of her. And he can kind of perma-push her in early, because her wave clear isn't... It's pretty good with her passive and her Q, and her W, really. But he can actually shove it into her tower, which is the main thing about Victor. The best part about Victor is once you get that 1,000 gold, once you get his E upgrade, you can just perma-push waves into the tower. And that's what they should do. They should have Dominate sit around here, mid lane. Maybe even have Gnar close by or something like that, or Alistar in rooms. The point is not to get kills mid lane. What you want to do with Victor is you want to just shove it in really fast and just get the minion damage on the tower even. But you need your support there just in case their jungler does come. But with Victor, I don't think a lot of people take advantage of that. His wave clear is insane. His basic ability clears the whole wave in one hit, close to one hit. And you just perma-push the wave in, and especially against Diana, who's melee. So yeah, she'll get all the CS, but you'll get so much damage on the tower, and what you just do is you keep perma-pushing her in until her tower goes down. Or not her tower, but the mid lane in general with Victor, and then you can take a snowball advantage off that. You have vision in their jungle now, you have the gold bonus from the tower, and you basically the whole map opens up to you. I don't think a lot of people in LCS, EU, or NA do that very well. You see the top teams play it a lot better. Pobelter played it insanely well against TSM. But as far as the pick bans, I deviated a little bit. I don't think Liquid has an answer to this team comp. This team comp's going to split push with Diana, have early pressure with Elise being everywhere, have insane global presence just in general, not from just double TP, but from Shen ult as well as Sneaky playing one of the best AD carries in a favorable matchup, as well as having the best support probably on this patch. Yeah, we'll see if Liquid can bring it together. I can't remember. Maybe they do win this one. I don't think so. I think they win game 3. Spoilers, I guess. But we'll kill that, and then we'll move on to bans for game 3. Don't know why my music isn't playing. Skip this video. Pause it really quick. Just to go to the next one. That's how these things work. Anyway, so it's not so dull. So now, on to the next one. The Draven ban. Good start. I don't know if... Okay, so Liquid did win that one. That's good. I can't remember exactly. I can see why. The Victor with the Corki, if they snowballed it well, and they just shut down Vayne, then they were fine. Yeah. Sorry, this is more oriented towards pick bans. And I know I'm deviating here and there, but that's... I'm just not going to watch any games. I might do a VOD review later. But for now, I'm just trying to do a pick ban focus. Okay, so ban the Maokai from balls. I like that. I think they should ban Rumble instead of Maokai, but his Maokai is insanely good as well. They could pick Maokai for themselves if they wanted. But more importantly, red side, Kalista ban, usual. Azir ban against Phoenix, what should happen. And the Draven ban, the Draven's a niche pick against Vayne. So if they're gonna ban Draven, they should pick Vayne. Like that's the only reason. Sneaky's not gonna play Draven unless Liquid plays Vayne. The Nidalee ban, again, I don't think High is the craziest on it. Gangplank ban makes sense. They really don't want Quas playing it. I think Quas could perform really well. Steal the Gragas away from Cloud9. Good. That's what helped win them the last game. If I remember the game, the Elise pick just wasn't as great for High. High likes to farm in the jungle a lot and then look for plays here and there instead of just creating pressure all the time. And I think that's important. So that's why I don't think Nidalee's very good on him, and I don't think Elise is either. Both of them, he can farm up on them really quick because he likes to farm so much. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just the way his style works. But he's just not utilizing them to their full potential. It's not necessarily a bad thing, it's just the style that he does play. It can be taken advantage of by other teams. But I think Gragas, The Amumi pick was weird, but I kind of liked it. As well as like the Shyvana. That's why he does good on Shyvana. He just likes to farm. He likes to get the Devour stacks and then go ham. And I do like that pick. It's hit or miss sometimes, and I don't think it would work very well in this situation, but hypothetically. So I do think that the Gragas pick is a good idea. Take it away from High. It's one of his strongest junglers by far. As well as it helped win them the game last time. He just got out jungled last game, if I remember correctly. And right there, it says 60% win rate. No reason not to pick a champion. People are picking Victor, and NA has like a 20% win rate on him, so win rate's not everything. But granted, win rates are also inflated and deflated by which teams are picking them. Low-level teams picking like Victor and stuff would drop it off. I expect Braum and maybe Vayne. If they really want to play Vayne, they could pick it up right here. Basically nullifying the Draven ban. I think that was a stupid ban. Unless they were going to first pick Vayne. Because I think Cloud9 should pick it up right now. But definitely Braum, maybe Rumble. I think Rumble would be a good pick here as well for balls. I keep saying it, it's open. I don't get why everyone's shying away from Rumble. Riley's buffs, Leandri's buffs. Like, it's Rumble's wet dream, and Zhonya's is cheaper now too. Vayne Braum, boom. That's exactly the perfect pick right there for Cloud9. Stupid ban of Draven by Liquid. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but I just don't get it. Unless they don't understand that the Draven is a specific counter pick to the Vayne. Like, it's not like they didn't play it last game, they picked Vayne. They're obviously saying, okay, Vayne's stronger, but Draven's good. I don't know, maybe they just didn't realize it. He pulled a Draven ban. Alistar should be the pick again. And Corki. That's the matchup that won him last game, so I totally see why. This is exact same comp for the roles that are picked, exact same as last game. Makes sense. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, that kind of sort of thing. Expect jungle pick maybe. It's kind of up in the air at this point. It could really be anything. If they want to maybe try and go a similar route as last game, and decide or their picks off that. If they want to say, okay, we just messed up last game, let's try it again, or they might just try something completely different. Wow, Corki's been reached 35%. Boom. Okay, I love this. I love this pick. So like I said before, High likes to farm. Tankier junglers, that's okay. You just build Cinder Hulk, you stack health, you're going to be strong like it. You're going to be a tank, it's in their face. I like the Echo pick. I know it's sort of falling off a little bit, but I personally think it's a good idea, or a good pick in general. With his ult, he stays alive forever in fights and actually does a good amount of damage. His base damages are insanely good, especially on his passive. But the amount of slows and the amount of CC, well, just the insane stun on his W and zone control. That's the thing with High, especially. High has just this great mind of the game, shot calling and stuff like that. With Gragas and Echo, he has so much zone control with Gragas barrels and explosive cask, as well as Echo W. And even the Ghost actually creates some zone control. You don't really want to get hit by it. Tank Echo, it's not as big of a deal. But and then the Rumble pick insanely well adds on to the zone control of this. If you get a stun followed up by a Braum and a Rumble, you're dead. I don't care who you are, you're dead. Especially if Sneaky has time to free fire on you, which he probably will with a Braum and Echo in your face, with an Echo in your face and Rumble and Braum defending and just being a fucking nuisance. Fantastic. I like this team comp. They fixed, I think, some of their issues from the last ban. Better jungler for High, as well as a more just the strongest pick for balls in general. His balls is just insanely strong. Don't get why they would shy away from it. So Team Liquid truly goes for the if it ain't broke, don't fix it comp. They just picked exactly the same stuff as last game. Same summoners pretty much too. He's going with the cleanse, doesn't even know the mid lane matchup. You might think it's Echo, which I mean it's not set in stone yet, so that's good. I like that they left Incarnation the counter pick, or they could even flex Echo. I don't know if Incarnation's practiced it at all. He is running the TP again. Interesting to see. He could have just left it from last time too. Yeah, they did just same exact draft. I don't know if they were thinking of counter picks or anything like that, or if they were just like, okay, it worked last time, so it should work again, right? Orianna, I think, is good, especially with the Echo. The CC chain, again, and the team fight in general. So I mentioned earlier I would work on this, and I mentioned this, and I haven't done the best job about it yet. But the strengths of each team. A lot of AoE over here. Mainly magic damage, which is the biggest issue. I mean, magic, as well as Nar's percent health damage is magic. It's not the biggest deal. If you can get a Gnar ult with everyone on a wall and can AoE the shit out of them, then it's great. You have Corki bombs flying in, Victor stuff, or lasers, ult, stuff like that. That being said, there's a lot of CC. Not the greatest amount of damage. Victor has some good DPS as well. His burst is insanely good late game on squishies. His DPS is good overall. His cooldowns aren't the longest, so just over time, he does put out a lot of damage if you can keep him alive. I would say early mid game is this team's focus. Just because they have Corki, if he can make pressure, get towers and stuff like that, and get ahead, that gives plenty of time for Phoenix to ramp up and do damage. This team, I love their wombo combo. Absolutely love their wombo combo. You can protect Sneaky long enough without him being the only threat. I think a lot of times with Vayne, people are so worried about protecting her that they make it so she's really the only damage. With this team, Orianna still does a great amount of damage. Can delete people, honestly. Rumble does insane amounts of damage, and the base damage on high isn't horrible. So basically, you layer all these ults on top of each Rumble, Orianna, and Braum ults all on top of each other. Pull them all in with Orianna Ball. Throw a parallel convergence on top of them. Braum, Glacial Fissure, and then a Rumble Equalizer, and they're just toast. Like, Sneaky, they have this, like, pseudo-peel. It's like they're not directly peeling for Vayne, but they have all this stuff that's knocking the shit out of them and just in their face or just melting them so they have to run away, that Vayne can free fire without them even thinking about her. So I like that comp as well. I like this one for the CC. Alistar gets up in your face, which gives Gnar time to jump in and fuck you up, basically. A lot of times you'll hear a lot of analysts, like Monte Cristo and his VOD reviews and stuff, talking about primary engage. And I think that this team has enough with Alistar. It's good. I think that's a great form of engage as well as Gragas. But they also have a good amount of engage. If you want, you can flash ult with Braum. It's not as reliable, but you also have high for some good engage as well. Or Orianna Ball if placed correctly. Both teams, I think, did draft very well. Liquid's draft, I don't know how much thought went to it, or if it was just, hey, this team comp worked, run it back. The only issue I see with Liquid's team comp or draft phase was the Draven ban. I didn't like that. And then here, it's weird. I don't get why they're not prioritizing Braum. Every game Cloud9's picking it. Third game in a row they've picked it. They first picked it last game. They said this is the most powerful pick in the game. We are picking it first. Out of the champions that are available. And then they or at least pick Vayne if you're going to put the priority on the Draven ban. But I think the Echo is up in the air on its quality, just because High hasn't played too much of it. It's not a highly contested pick, but I think it works well for them and for this team. So now we'll go to the last game. Did I exit out of the last? Of course I did. Or I forgot to. Wrong one. My apologies. So now for the last one. If you don't know already the results, Cloud9 wins game 3. And now on to game 4 / the final game. And we'll try and figure out what in this last game decided Cloud9's success. First banned again by Cloud9. They're saying, Quas, fuck you, you're not getting Gangplank no matter how hard you want it, or how badly you want it, or anything, you're not getting it. Red side, Callisto ban. I expect, okay, they same exact bans as game 2. Same bans so far as game 2. Okay, the Gragas ban, so neither team is getting a Gragas this game. Interesting. I'm interested to see what Cloud9 picks. And then finally, Liquid does the right thing and bans Rumble, even though Cloud9 wasn't doing the right thing and picking Rumble. Alright, High wants to play the Nidalee. I think he plays it... I don't know. I go back and forth. I think he plays it well. I don't think it's his strongest jungler by far. They win with it, so... Oh, wait, I think I remember why they picked Nidalee here. Believe... We'll see in a second. But I think I know why. There's a very specific... Well, maybe not very specific, but a reason I think is a good reason for High to pick an early game excessively pressure-heavy jungle. So there we go. Smart by Liquid. I'm surprised Cloud9 didn't pick... Well, no, they needed to pick Nidalee first because Dominate would have picked it instead. Liquid does take away the Braum, which I think is smart. Like I've said, Cloud9 is obviously prioritizing it as their strongest, or they think is one of the strongest champions, and that they've played it every single game, as well as the Vayne. They fall into the trap. This is what I don't get. This is what I don't get. Why would you ban Draven and then leave Vayne open, and then pick Vayne and leave Draven open? Like, they obviously didn't see the fact that they're using it as a counter pick. It's a direct counter pick. Like, you can say whatever you want about it, but that is directly what it's for. It is for shutting down Vayne and kicking the shit out of her. Straight up this game, you see Draven, without cashing in his stacks, throw 2 axes and leave Vayne at less than 100 HP. Ridiculous. Like the Morgana pick, something we haven't seen as much recently. Very good against Braum, especially as soon as it hits 3 passives when the 4 stacks about to be hit. Black Shield, you're safe, as well as the Condemn, stuff like that. They don't know the other ones, but it's good at keeping Draven alive long enough to get his stack, cash his stacks. The 100% win rate on Draven. Sneaky's the only person that's played it. Obviously, that's the perfect pick by Cloud9. Liquid honestly is kind of doomed at this point. Just because, personally, I think the Vayne comps that they have run on Liquid are protect the Vayne more than anything. Beefy frontline, some utility to help keep Vayne alive, which I think is how they like to run the Vayne comp, or a comp around Vayne. And if you shut down Vayne, the comp's fucked. It's like in a Juggernaut. If Kog'Maw has 5 deaths in the first 10 minutes, he's fucked. Like, the comp's fucked. They picked Orianna. I think that's better than the Lulu for overall because it's going to give more damage. Lulu does a surprising amount of damage, especially if she gets ahead. But I like the Orianna better. You can send Rek'Sai with a ball, knock someone up, ult, you fuck him. Draven especially, the Rek'Sai pick is scary. If he gets knocked up, he's close to fucked. But the Morgana does help nullify that. I believe you see at one point in this game, Sneaky should have died from a shockwave, like pulling him in, and then he would have gotten fucked. And he was the only one in there, but I think the Black Shield saves him. Yeah, I think so. Alright. So, Maokai and Rumble are gone for balls. The Sion pick hasn't been seen. Like, at all. This whole split. Maybe it'll say... Hold on, let me look at this. Victor, I think, is a great pick. Phoenix is obviously playing it a lot. But because they didn't pick it, they're obviously looking maybe for a counter or something like that. Incarnation can play it just fine. It's a staple mid lane right now. If you don't play Victor, you're doing something wrong, really, in my opinion. As well as the Black Shield helps him because he is immobile, can keep him alive long enough. The only issue I see majorly with Cloud9 is Balls is their only frontline. Like the only real tank, which isn't necessarily horrible. They want to get in your face. They're going to send Balls in, especially with Nidalee probably close behind. And then just looking to get Draven a kill and just get in your face, and it's kind of that pseudo peel I talked before, where you have these tanks bearing down on you so much that it's, I mean, I missed the Sion thing, but it's that pseudo peel where everyone's in your face so much that you can't focus and go kill Draven or kill Victor. You have to save your front line first, or your back line first. Okay, so it's this. There's been 2 picks. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. So 2 picks. Hasn't been picked like at all. 3 out of 125 games, 2%. I like it though. I do really like the Sion pick. It's not the strongest necessarily right now. I think on the newer patch, Malphite's actually insanely strong. Starting to get played more. I saw it was played in every single game of one of the series. I'm trying to remember what it was. Was it the Gamers 2 SK series? No. I can't remember. There was a certain series recently where Malphite was literally picked top every single game. Granted, that's not super popular yet. I think it'll catch on soon. Just because he does the same thing as Sion. He just gets in your face and fucks with you. Not maybe... he can be as tanky. But anyway, that's off topic. I like it. Cloud9 is lacking a little bit of the front line. But I think their team comp's decent enough. Has the counter pick. They're more about lanes, I think, in this game than anything. Looking for the top. Oh, sorry, was I saying Phoenix needed a counter pick to Victor? I'm stupid. Oh my god. No, we're looking for Quas's pick now. Personally think Quas should be on... he's going to probably play Nautilus. Something like that. Give Vayne a better front line and some peel. As well as it's a decent matchup against Sion, I guess. It's wet noodle fight. Okay. The Lulu works fine too. Makes sense why they didn't pick it mid. Think they're a little utility heavy. No, I don't know. It's fine. Like I said, Liquid likes to run the Juggermaw style comp for Vayne, sort of. Just a lot of peel, a lot of damage for Vayne. Sorry, I'm running it back just so you can see all the picks again. Surprising thing is just the win rate for Victor is ridiculously low. I think SKT has like a 80 or 90% win rate when Faker plays Victor. Because he is that strong, people just don't play him, right? Like I said, they should just shove down mid tower, which I think is what they do this game. Against Orianna, it's kind of matched, but I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Incarnation just shoves in all day. And so, okay, yeah, but what I was talking about earlier with the Nidalee pick, and why I think Hive's a little weird on it, but I think it's really good in this situation, is for those two things I just said. So Victor wants to just shove it in, but he needs a little pressure just because if he's shoving it in, he's overextended. If he gets ganked, he's fucked. That being said, having the Nidalee there, Nidalee needs to camp bot and mid. Just in that river basically the whole time. Farming, occasionally because she needs gold. But helping Victor shove in the tower and just create pressure there, as well as pressure for Draven. I think Nidalee is great with Draven purely off the fact that she can be there for him and either help him snowball or protect him from counter ganks. Because what they do this game is, this is the game, the infamous game, Sneaky gets so many stacks, and you're just waiting for him to cash in. He doesn't die, he doesn't get kills for the longest time. And they're just trying to pressure. The Draven pick, I love it. I love it, especially as a counter to Vayne, because it just creates so much pressure. Later in this game, what you'll see happen is Draven has so many stacks that they focus purely on not dying to Draven or killing Draven, that they lose all the team fights. They lose all the fights because all they care about is, oh well, Draven's gonna get gold and snowball, or Draven's gonna get, we just need to kill Draven, or whatever it is. And it's just Draven. Even though Victor's there shredding you, Nidalee's on your back line, and Lemon's gonna peel Draven for days. Like, ridiculous. It's such a good pick, and having the Nidalee, having the early pressure to either snowball Draven or just protect Draven in general, is the reason I do like the first pick on Nidalee, the priority. I think Cloud9 baited Liquid once again, and they were like, take it. They picked in the first rotation, and that was instant. They were just like, okay, we'll pick Draven. Like, Sneaky's one of the best Draven players, and he's obviously figured out this as a counter pick. And I don't know how Liquid didn't pick it up. I don't understand how they banned Draven, let Cloud9, like, why first ban Draven and then let Cloud9 get Vayne? There's like no point. If you're gonna let Cloud9 get Vayne, and I understand the way the pick and bans were set up, they were gonna get Vayne pretty much regardless. Fuck the Draven ban. There's no reason to. Other than that, if you're looking at the issues for the Vayne or the Liquid's team comp, fantastic peel, absolutely. Vayne, if has time to free fire, will destroy. But if you look at last game, what Cloud9 had success with on Vayne, and they won in the game, is that there was so much of that pseudo peel, so much other things going on, and that Vayne didn't have to do it all. The issue with the game state right now, it's not necessarily an issue, but before, in League's history, AD carries have always been, you're doing the majority of the damage, we're going to keep you alive, you're going to carry the game, blah blah blah. It is an attack damage carry, but the way things are right now, it shouldn't be the sole damage threat. Juggermaw's been the one surprising thing that has allowed an AD carry to be the sole focus, but even then, it's pretty mindless. Kog'Maw just presses W and auto attacks and is literally the front line. The rest of the team has to play perfectly to protect that guy. That being said, I'm not trying to take away from AD carries. I think it's a very demanding job. I'm horrible at it. I'm bronze 5 in AD carry. I just think with this comp, you have Nidalee's damage, which is solid. It's not the craziest. Morgana's damage, he builds a Zanya, so he does a little bit. Sion does a surprising amount of damage. And then Victor just does insane amounts of damage. So there's other threats. But the thing is, the Draven threat is crazy and all the pressure it puts on. But versus this, they have so much versus these two. And Orianna's damage is solid. I think Orianna's damage is undervalued. I think people are like, oh, she's just a utility, supportive mid laner, stuff like that. Her shockwave can half health of the enemy AD carry. Like, her damage is nothing to joke about. Granted, a Victor laser can do the same. But I don't like these team comps from Liquid. I think Piglet is the right kind of AD carry to put that sort of pressure on, to put the idea of, okay, you're going to be our main damage source, you're going to carry us. I think Piglet has that potential. I think Piglet is a great AD carry. But I think Team Liquid's strengths are the fact that all of their players are really good in their role. What I would have liked to see from them more is have them on more lane focus. That's what Cloud9 is doing. Cloud9 doing, we're going to win this lane, I'm going to hold steady in this lane, I'm going to have, with my mechanical ability, I'm going to have enough pressure to maybe not win lane, but at least come closer, like at least apply some lane pressure. This is, okay, let's look at our team comp, and we're going to overall just try and win once we get out of laning phase and stuff like yeah, that's good. That's how League as a whole is right now. Before it used to be very lane centric, but at the same time with this team, Liquid as a whole is having synergy issues. Their team's not 100% cohesive. I know there's a lot of issues within the team, but they are all seriously good players. They are all at least top 3 in each of their roles, I would say. Dom is close to probably the best jungler. No, I think he's really good. X-Special's insanely great, has been forever. Veteran. Piglet's a world champion. Quas is insanely good especially on carry champions. I've seen him play just phenomenal, and on tanks. And then Phoenix is the scrim god, and in my opinion, probably close to the best Azir in NA. Give them, focus your pick bans on making them stronger. That's my advice to Liquid. I'm just some guy, but I think here, let them have Azir. If you like, focus your bans on giving your players what they need. So bans, I think, are way undervalued. I think people kind of skim over them, but I honestly think that they're super important. Like specifically here, give up. Let them have a power pick. If that's the biggest deal, let them have Nidalee. Let them have Braum. Let them even have Kalista or Rumble. Let Phoenix get Azir. You have 2 picks here. You can force their hand. You can say, okay, here's 1 power pick. We'll give you the table. You can take Azir if you want, but if you take Azir, we'll get Kalista Braum or something like that. Like, you can structure your bans way better and allow your team to succeed more, because Liquid has great lanes. They can win all these lanes. Quas can go on. I mean, they're gonna ban Gangplank against him, but I don't know. There's just better ways to do their bans, I think, and just their overall pick strategy, because it's not horrible. Like, granted, this is obviously a team comp that they've run a couple times. They played it game 1. They're trying to play it again. Game 1 is usually where, okay, we're going to play our best scrim thing. We're going to see how it works. It's been working well in scrims. Should work on stage, right? They obviously like the protect the Vayne kind of comps. I'm totally fine with that. But I'm fine with it, and I get that they like it. I just think that they could play it better. Like, forget Orianna. Azir could work in that comp just fine too. You get 2 damage dealers, and Azir can help peel with his wall. Or something like that, at least, you know. I think that they have so much talent that they need to capitalize on that. Like, you wouldn't, like, that's why some of the issues with TSM I've seen recently, like, you have the best, arguably the best mid laner, probably the best mid laner in NA, if not in maybe top 5 even in the world. That might be I'd have to look at a list or something like that. But Bjergsen's insanely good. And then I see these couple games where they're putting him on like Lulu and Orianna. Like, what the fuck? Like, you use the talent on your team. And use your bans specifically to help with that. So focus on, like, okay, idealistically, don't ban Kalista or Azir. Make either them ban it, because then, okay, they're not going to ban Gragas or something. But if they ban both those champions, then you can pick up Gragas and Braum. Or, like, you're forcing them to ban it. You are on red side. You have 2 picks, 2 power picks, on your first rotation. Sure, they're going to get 1. They're going to get maybe the best champion in the game. But you can force their hand and say, alright, you take who you think is best out of Kalista, Azir, Nidalee, hypothetically. And we'll take the other 2. Like, I think that's a missed opportunity, and a lot of people forget about that in bans. And that how important bans are, not just picks. Other than that, I'm going to kind of wrap that up. This is my first one like this, so thank you guys for watching. I know I'm kind of rambling and stuff like that, but I'm just trying to give my insight on pick and bans. I'm going to hopefully do more specifically on pick and bans and break them down more, get better eventually, and maybe more cohesive and stuff like that. But thank you. I'm really excited for Worlds this year. I'm going to try and do a lot of analysis and stuff like that. Thank you guys for watching. Leave feedback below and comments and stuff like that, as well as just let me know how I did. Like and subscribe if it was not complete shit, as well as keep the dank memes flowing, everyone. Later.